And welcome to the NFL Today set. I'm James Brown along with Coach Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, and Matt Ryan. And we are near the halfway point in the NFL season. Bill, you are famous for saying this is the murky part of the season and you have to navigate it. Irrespective of how unpretty, if that's a word, the Kansas City Chiefs have been looking at, they're still 6-0. But are the Detroit Lions playing the best football at this point?
I mean, I think it's hard to argue that they're not. I think you look at that offense, the creativity that Ben Johnson brings to it, the physicality that offensive line brings to it. Defensively, we said, okay, how are they going to do without Aiden Hutchinson? I think that has yet to play out, to be quite frankly with you. But I would say right now, they're probably the most complete team playing that way. We still have a long way to go. It is the middle of the season. And I always think around this time of year, you gauge it by, number one, you have a body of work. You understand what your flaws are, maybe what the things are that you need to work on to become a more complete and balanced team. You also understand the degree of depth that you have because now you've had a chance to see some of these guys play. And so to me, it's also as a head coach trying to make sure that you continue to strive for balance while you're trying to perfect your strengths.
Yeah.
Because you are who you are right now. There's an identity you have. You don't want to deviate from it,
right? But
you want to have balance with it.
No doubt. What was that question again, JB?
Is Detroit playing?
Yes. I don't mean to jump all over you, but I did that as an example because that's exactly what the Detroit Lions do. They jump all over their opponents.
Yeah.
And they're one of the few teams that know how to get a lead and then keep a lead. And it's been very impressive. I mean, there's been a couple of games this year where they had to go back and forth and they were in a little bit of a shootout. But I love the fact that Jared Goff is also playing his best football. We're talking 85+% rate when he's out there throwing the rock. He doesn't have to do a lot. This last game, 12 for 15, and they actually pulled him out like this was a high school game and you're playing against your homecoming opponent. They have everything they need on offense. Sam Laporta showed up big. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. The second half of the season sensation will be Sam Laporta. Because remember, he had that ankle injury, and I know as a wide receiver, a guy that's out there using his athletic ability and agility to get up and down the field, it takes a while, even sometimes into the next season. So he's going to show up big in the second half. They have the speed when Jamison Williams is on the field. And then you have the gritty guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown. And the running back duo, I mean, you have speed and power with Gibbs and Montgomery.
Hey, how about Khalif Raymond as a punt returner?
So to your point, Coach, yes, they are going to miss Aiden Hutchinson. But this is the next man up mentality. I know that sounds very cliche in football, but more so than any other squad that I see this year, they truly do believe it. Yeah. One guy goes down, it's not just one other dude stepping up. It is the collective. They say once you hear the roar, it's too late. And it's too late for a lot of these teams that have been sleeping on the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you add on to that, right? I think they steal teams' hope right from the beginning of the game. With the way they get off the bus, they're coming in to punch you right in the mouth, and they do it for 4 quarters. They beat you any way they want to.
Yep.
If it's a game where you're running the football, they can do that. If it's a game where you have special teams play that are going all over the place like today in the punt returns, unbelievable. Defensively, getting involved in it, 4 takeaways, 90 yards plus of punt return touchdown. But to me, it's the number of different guys, like you guys have mentioned, that can take advantage of you with the Detroit offense. If you want to throw it, they've got explosiveness down the field. If they want to ground and pound, they can go do that. And they have the most efficient quarterback in the NFL right now. He's the most efficient quarterback in the NFL right now. Today, not asked to do too much. 3 incompletions, 12 of 15, 3 touchdowns. Jared Goff is playing as well, if not better, than anybody else in the league right now.
He's playing his best football. And I'll add this, JB, real quick. And also, this is really something that the fans can appreciate as they sit at home in their couches and watch this from their local bars, is that it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are
just straight up and down. Listen, they'll hit you in between the tackles, old school football, but it seems like week in and week out, they're pulling a trick play out, and not only are they pulling it out, it's
David
working.
Montgomery was pretty nice with that pass today.
That was nice.
The only thing I will possibly push back on is, are we peaking too early? And that's kind of the way I always viewed it was you want to kind of be getting better as the year goes on. But I've been a part of teams where we were probably playing our best football in October and November and not December and January.
Well, what about the offense that you was on? The record-breaking, one of the best offenses in the NFL. Did you guys start early on in the season?
We played pretty consistently early on, but don't forget.
Didn't you guys maintain it?
We were 7-5. 7-5 and ripped off 4 in a row to finish at 11-5 to finish second in the NFC that year in 2016. But it really picked up from mid-November on.
So who's to say they don't get better from there?
I'm not making that argument. I'm just saying the only thing I'm looking at right now is, are we peaking too early?
It is early. It is early.
And I would say the measuring stick, too, are divisional games. We've seen teams, as we talked about even this weekend, you go in, you can throw the records out the window. They don't care about, okay, you're the Detroit Lions and you're a physical team. Oh, yeah, Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, we have a little bit of physicality about us as well. So,
True.
I mean, we're going to find out about that, how that unfolds, because that also will tell you something about where you stand. So
the last thing I have to say on it, though, in that division, who's the team to beat?
What's the Detroit Lions?
It's the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
In a very good division, they are the class of the division.
Before we move to the next topic, can you talk about that coaching staff in Detroit? They hung 52 on Tennessee today, but talk about the coaching staff and what you see working well from that standpoint.
Well, I mean, listen, Ben Johnson's creativity just speaks volumes. He takes an offensive line, the most physical in the National Football League, and they make this creative thing they can do with their running backs. So they got the slash, or what do you call it? The
Sonic and Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, James Williamson. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Khalif Raymond. So they've got a lot of playmakers. He does a great job of getting everybody involved in that game. Positionless players in the secondary. And you're right. I mean, you look at them, they are the most complete team, but they also represent Dan Campbell. And I think Dan Campbell will keep these guys pretty grounded and make sure they decide who they are. Oh, yeah.